Day 2 AES Convention in Long Beach. Walk this way. Oh, copyright strike. How are you? You good?
I'm doing great. How are you?
It's always great to be here.
35 minutes out from
day 2, yeah, 35 minutes to go on day 2. We're going to put you at the beginning of the video, really to confuse everybody, even though it's the end. I'm a huge fan, and I've always said what I love about Eventide is the fact that this is the sort of continuation, like one of the first American digital companies.
Totally.
And so you move from like into plugins from hardware and still making hardware.
Yeah.
Still making the beautiful Omnipressor, which we might have to bring Richard on and talk about in a second. Of course, the H9000, guitar pedals, all kinds of stuff, and of course, amazing plugins. So with all that being said, what do you want to talk about? What you got new, what's new and nutritious?
So we just came out with something new yesterday called Temperance Pro. Temperance Pro is a new type of reverb, right? So we're doing this thing called modal responses. Yep. Essentially what you can do with Temperance is you can select notes in your room, like based on the 12-note chromatic scale, and you can make your reverb ring out in certain chords or
C
in
major
certain
7th chord. Let's have a quick look.
So like that way, it's just a standard reverb if it's at 0, but as I turn it up, you're gonna start to hear the reverb ring out in the C major 7 chord.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then you can take that the other way. If you have a mix that's really muddy, say you have an acoustic guitar, right? And you want to make room for that to really ring out, I can just duck all those notes in my reverb. So my reverb will ring out in everything else except for the notes I selected, you
Except
know?
for C major 7th. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and
So
I like to
good.
use it more like a production element. Like I like songwriting with my reverb. Like, so there's a really cool thing with the Pro version of it where you can set up a sequencer. So now like your reverb will ring out in the same chord progression as the song, which is really cool. Yeah, so if say my song goes from F minor, C minor, A sharp minor, A major 7, G7, like I can bust that to my vocals, and now my vocals is gonna ring out in whatever notes we're playing.
Oh, that's so cool. So you can have kind of an implied harmony around something,
Yes.
but it's just built into the ambience. It's not going to...
Exactly, and then we have a bunch of rooms you can kind of go through. Like, this is a bunch of rooms that we specifically selected, some Kessler impulse responses that we turned modal. So like all of these are modal responses where you can take out and, you know, pick and choose which modes you want to emphasize or de-emphasize to get really creative with reverb.
Oh, yeah.
And if we bypass it, it's just...
You need to use your imagination, but just think of a reverb that is literally a chord.
Yeah, and you don't have to use your imagination. We have a free version of this out.
Okay,
so
good.
there's a Temperance Lite where you can...
That does this?
Yeah, it does this section where you can use the temper and all the regular like reverb parameters. So just to give you an idea of how it works. So, but that's free, and you can just use it as a regular reverb too.
There will be a link down below where you can download it for free.
Yes. It's cool to like be in a company that just makes weird. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of beautiful reverbs out there. This can be a beautiful like just regular reverb, but it's cool to be weird, you know, and make something that you really haven't heard before. So.
And stuff that's just like, you know, it's going to be a standard forever. I mean, the H3000 is probably, you know, it's just there.
Yes. We only have like 2 working H3000s in the office, and it's
really?
like, yeah, because it's so hard to get. Anyone who gets an H3000 really never gets rid of it. So buying a used H3000 is going to be super expensive, and or it's just not out there, you know? So we have a golden unit that we based off our plugin. So we actually like converted all of like the I/O of it to make sure it sounds exactly like the hardware unit. But that's going to sound different than your H3000. That's going to sound different than someone else's H3000.
And then, of course, the Omnipressor. On a drum mix or just a mono room mic on drums, it's just like it completely changes the groove and feel of the song.
Totally. Yeah, I love just kind of fiddling with the knobs and being like, okay, that crushes. I'm just going to leave it there and let's go. Yeah.
There's like certain piece of equipment, like you know what it says it does,
but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter how the cake's made. Just throw in a bunch of flour and see how it sounds, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. But so yeah, that's kind of what we're showing off. We also have a bunch of new immersive algorithms, like from a couple like months ago. So Black Hole is now immersive, and Micro Pitch is now immersive. Right. So you can detune the top left, different than the top right, different than the bottom left and right. So
wow.
It's pretty dope.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
This is Richard Factor from Eventide, one of the founders.
I am Richard Factor from Eventide, one of the founders, and very pleased to be vertical because the other founders are no more, so I'm it.
So this is your baby, isn't it? The
Well,
Omnipressor.
this is the re-release of the re-release. of the Omnipressor.
2 re-releases. Okay.
2 re-releases. The original one, the one that I designed, had the white face.
Okay.
And it was a beast. It was really hard to use for real people. And we had this panel. Tony and I did a panel yesterday. And I explained that my original version was an example of bad design.
Okay.
People couldn't use it. You see all the calibrations around the knob here?
Yeah.
Didn't have any.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You see all the calibrations around the knob?
Yeah.
Didn't have any. So everybody tried to use it, and some were very successful. It's a wonderful piece of equipment, and the old one actually did everything that this one did, but it was kind of incomprehensible. And so what I did at the panel was tell people, hey, don't make the same mistakes that I did. Instead, come out with version number 2. That would be the re-release. And that was the blackface without the stuff on the bottom. And then this is all new. This is the re-release of the Omnipressor, and it's even better.
I love the fact it has a mix control, because you can go nuts with this.
Yeah.
And it sounds incredible, but you can go even more nuts if you like, and then just bring it back and find that right kind of parallel between the signal passing through and
You're one of those music mixing guys.
I am, and I absolutely love. Honestly, when I first heard 2 years ago you were bringing this out, I was like, I was giddy.
That's about when I found out about it too.
No, I remember working in Indiana in Bloomington, and they had one of these, and that was it. It was about 15, 20 years ago, and I just, yeah.
Well, you probably had the blackface one, remember? Yeah. So actually, it was pretty much the same as this. This is a re-release, and this, all the parts inside are much smaller, barely visible, at least to people like me. But this is an improved version of that one, as opposed to an improved version of the previous one, which, when you heard this story.
Our mutual friend, Jack Douglas, he told me about mixing Aerosmith records and you walking in and going, yeah, we'll just try it out on this record. And
Yeah.
Jack always liked the flanger on a snare. So get a goosh.
Flanger and the Omnipressor, or the flanger?
The flanger on the snare.
Yeah.
And I
That's because it had the envelope follower.
Yeah.
So you hit the snare,
yeah.
and the flange goes up, and then it decays along with the amplitude.
Yeah.
And the flanging changes with the amplitude.
Yeah.
That was a good thing.
Yeah, it was amazing. Because I would always struggle trying to get his snare sound. He's like, that's because you need the flanger.
Yeah.
So the Omnipressor is a mythical beast, and not many understand it, myself included. I've always felt like, oh, I knew what this did, but honestly, I just kind of went, oh, it's brilliant, you know. But apparently this man over here, Russell, actually knows how it works and will describe it to us. And I have not yet seen, but apparently he just did a drawing.
Yes.
Show me.
Yes. All right.
Show us.
So, this is really all about the biggest, most important knob on this box. It's the function knob.
Yep.
Okay. So, let's see. Normal compressors. I drew this. So here's your input. Here's your output. You pick a threshold.
Yeah.
And it compresses, you know, downwards compression above your threshold.
Sure.
This is not the Omnipressor. You put the Omnipressor in compressor mode. When you're moving this function knob, here's your threshold. This is your fulcrum point. Yeah. The entire curve of input versus output, both above and below the threshold, rotates like a seesaw, right? So what you're doing is downwards compression above threshold, upwards compression below threshold. You're really squashing the dynamic range. That means when the signal crosses through the threshold, there's no knee artifacts, because there's no knee at the threshold. The knees happen, and I didn't draw them because they get complicated. The knees happen because of these limits.
Yeah.
How much gain are you going to let it have? How much attenuation are you going to let it have? Your knees happen at the edge of your dynamic range. That's why this thing is magical, is it's linear through the threshold.
It's amazing. I absolutely love it. So we're big, bad, and back with Chris at Audioscape. How are you?
I am doing well.
Yeah.
Greetings.
Marvelous. So Mark yesterday went through some stuff with you.
Yeah, he went over at the left racks, but you guys are at the right racks here.
The right being, not the wrong ones, the right ones.
The right ones. Yes, especially this rack. This is one of my favorites.
This is a pretty awesome rack, yeah.
Yeah, we have it configured with a digitally controlled analog patch bay.
Okay.
Which I was joking, some people were confused at first, but once they get it, they really like that. And then we have our V-Comp, which is based on the gate stay level.
Which I know very well,
with expanded options, of course. A lot of people don't realize that the gate stay level actually had the original, it just had a fixed time right there. It's the slowest setting. And people just, they don't think, you know, like, oh my goodness, like it's so slow, but that's what it was. And that's why they call it the stay level. And then of course we have this piece right here, which we call the D-Comp.
Yeah, big fan of this. And I honestly, I got to try one of these last year and I was blown away, like on a drum bus. And I didn't know what it was based on. And I heard through the grapevine, some people saying like it's like a Chandler type thing, but you're saying it's more than that.
Well, it's a little bit of, it's called D-Comp for a reason. It's a diode comp. So I've looked at a lot of different diode comp circuits, of course, looked at that, you know, looked at...
the need.
Yeah, some of those. And really, so there's a little bit of, a lot of that going on. It's like a mishmash, I guess, in a good way. And then we expanded out the parameters. So one thing we did on this, I mentioned the V-Comp, on the D-Comp as well, we expanded the parameters to where it's almost, you can push things in a creative way, which I don't really think you see a lot with some of these vintage devices. So you can push it past the parameters. This one, you can go past the cutoff on the tube and it starts glitching out, and it's just cool for synths. So yeah, with this, like especially having just the wider attack range, the sidechain high pass, you know, the variable release, it's really a fun piece. I mean, you can get some of those classic tones you would expect from the old, you know, Abbey Road style compressors, but you can get a lot more out of it as well. And I mean, there's nothing like this obviously on a drum room mic or something like that, but also it's killer on guitars. If you just want to use it in out mode for saturation, it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
it breaks up in a really tasty way.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we're going to demo it in a couple of weeks. Yeah. So that would be amazing. This was a special request. I used to give you a lot of hassle over making one of these over the last 3 or 4 years. So I'm so glad you brought it out.
Oh, it's so cool. And I mentioned this for, like, you know, drum room, this for overheads. I mean, or vocals or anything, any bus. It's a lot of. I mean, I think people are pleasantly surprised when they use this, and it's funny because this is like almost like a redemption piece of gear. Because back in the day,
I agree.
Yeah,
everybody hated it. When I was a kid, it's like, oh, 1178, they suck. Yeah,
it's not a real 1176. Get that thing out of here. Yeah, totally.
I could buy one used for about 150 pounds in '95.
You got a time machine?
There are old like forum posts where people are saying how much they hate those, like back in 2003.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Gotta love the internet. You can just go back and
right
see.
Back.
Yep.
All I remember is I used to use these on stereo rooms in my old studio, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And then, of course, last but no means least, probably one of the most classic electric guitar compressors ever. When I worked with Dave Sardi, he loved these, and he's like, and I was like, why do you love them so much? He's like, it's Fleetwood Mac. And then I went to the plant in Sausalito, and there was like racks of them because they had it above you, behind you, and of course they did rooms there.
Yeah.
So he knew his onions, yeah. This is just like so spanky on guitars. You immediately get like, well, pre that, the album before that, the Rhiannon kind of it is the best electric guitar compressor, at least.
It really is. It's funny because Lloyd, who is front of house for Young the Giant, he was looking for a compressor for the guitars for tour. And he like shut down our room, like, and tried everything. He came in thinking he was going to leave with like a pair of DBX 160s style compression, and he left with 2 of these.
Nice. Yeah. Well, the proof of the pudding.
Yeah.
Blind test, man of taste. That's great. Yeah. But of course, you know, being you've got a little bit more ability here.
Well, we have all these controls that are on the back panel and we put them on the front panel, sometimes for better or worse, but it is cool to have because, you know, you could go too far, and that's why they were on the back panel. But it's great, you know, if you want to dig in on the compression more, you can really turn the stereo just up more. Yeah. You know, having the, we call it HF, but it's more limit sensitivity control. Yeah. And that control confuses a lot of people for some reason. And it's really simple. Just the compression section becomes more sensitive to frequencies either higher or lower depending on where you sweep this control. It's not an actual true
It's
sidechain
almost like a
high pass.
bias kind of knob.
Yeah, it just becomes more, that's what triggers it. It's still full range compression, you know? So.
Well, very excited. We're going to do a video on this as well. So lots to come up. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. So we're here with Terry and Sammy.
Sammy.
At the Women's Audio Mission. How are you?
Great. We're here. You're
good.
here. We're great.
And with my co-conspirator partner.
Fantastic. So lovely
Tasha.
to meet you, ladies.
You as
Such a
well.
pleasure.
So nice to meet you as well.
So we're just going to throw you under the bus and tell us all about what you do.
Well, what we do is we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We're based in San Francisco. And we also have a location in LA, but we train women and gender expansive people in music production and recording arts. And we train about 3,000 people every year.
Amazing.
Yes. We have 2 recording studios in San Francisco. Sammy's running those studios. We've got our engineers back here. We have Dolby Atmos certified engineers, Pro Tools certified engineers. We teach certification courses in both.
Great.
We also train about 2,000 middle school girls.
Oh, that's good.
So we got a lot going on.
Amazing.
All the time. And we have a conference, WhamCon, that we're doing at the Village on Sunday. So we're really excited. We have all kinds of stuff
We're
going
flying out on
We
Sunday.
fly out.
We do them all the time.
right.
It's
Okay.
not the only one. It'll be fun.
So just out of curiosity, could you give us a little backstory about how the organization came to Fruitation?
Like, how did this come?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was I was a recording engineer for years, and then I kind of got tired of the freelance thing, and I got recruited to start a recording arts program at City College of San Francisco. When I got there was about 12% women in the program, and the great thing about that college is they were like, we want more diversity in this program. So in like a year and a half, 2 years, I got it up over 50% women in that program, and Women's Audio Mission just grew like gangbuster. I intended a small club, and then it just had a mind of its own, and it took off, and then we built a studio. We had a smaller studio that we started out with, and then it exploded. Now we own our studios. The city of San Francisco helped us with that. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, but it came out of kind of, I didn't really have an answer when somebody asked me, how come there's so few women in this industry? And I was ashamed. I was deeply ashamed, like, that I was in the industry and kind of didn't notice it, kind of like most systemic problems, right? And so it was kind of my way of answering, like, yeah, why is it like this? And so I had to really churn on. So it's evolved, you know, we've been around for 22 years, and it's just really evolved, like, how do we integrate in this industry and really make change? And, you know, allyship, you know, like folks like yourself is like, it's a really important part of this. Like, we can't just be insular to change this.
So my name is Sammy. I run our studio in San Francisco. We've got at our website, womensaudiomission.org, we've got information about all of our programs, in person, online, our workshops, our WhamCon events, our studio. We have a full commercial recording studio. It's fantastic. Come make a record with us. Join as a member. You get discounts to our events, you get discounts on studio time, and you get to be connected. Just an unbelievable community of women lifting each other up and learning, geeking out about audio.
We will have a link down below where you can check out more information. And, well, thank you both.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
So, I'm Shelby with Spector Pro, and we're here at the Hearback booth with
Kim Tibbs, the sales director of the wonderful Hearback systems and Hear products and technology.
Yeah, so we run Hearback as Sensible Music, and we're running the Gen 1, the original OGs.
OMG.
And like, we love these guys.
Well, we love them too. This is what started our magical journey.
So how old are these units?
God, you're looking at about 30 years of technology. So back in the 90s. When it started with this, it has evolved many moons later, but it gives you, as the artist, as the musician, the ability to be able to just play with your own mix.
Exactly.
And if you don't like something, you don't have to like wave to the entirety of the crowd to get the attention of the monitor guy. You can just turn the knobs yourself.
There's no point in doing the back and forth, you know?
Not at all.
Just take the agency.
Not at all.
So tell us about the different generations that we've got leading up to the newest.
Once we left our boat, we call it, we ended up going to the Octo. Octo is the same concept, it's just a little bit more of a sleek design. It comes in analog, it's ADAT, it's 8 channels, it's still with the hub.
So is this one backwards compatible with the original?
This is compatible. So if you had mixers, you could use the new mixers with the old hub. That's what I like about it. Because there's a lot of people who don't really want to like make the investment of moving up, but they know, hey, I've got to do something. The limiter might not be working, or certain things or certain elements of the old system may not work. Well, we have something that's compatible. You can still keep the same brain, just use the updated mixers, because nothing really changed on that end. But that's when the fun begins. People wanted to have a digital way to do things, because as technology changed, you know, we're moving into a digital world. So what happened is, from this to the Octo, we went to the magical Pro system. Pro system is the bells and whistles of our monitoring. This is like the Rolls Royce of all, because now, instead of just 8 channels, you're talking about 128 channels. You're talking about being able to have multiple ways to be able to record. So if you're a Dante user, if you're an AES user, ADAT, or even a possible person that loves the Waves Bridge, we are the OEM for that too. But it gives you so many different protocols to choose from, so that way you still have that great Cat6 cabling, you still have that Ethernet and support, and you still now have 0% latency. So went completely bananas with the system, because now, okay, you can talk back, you have intercom system. Now you can do panning, you can do
even
mixing.
notice this guy here. That's
yes,
great.
so this allows you now, you don't even have to move, you don't have to wave, just push the button, hey, could you turn the whole full mix up? And then you can still go through and do what you need to do as the artist, performer, producer, whatever, change your channels. The greatest part about this now is, with the digital overlay, you can now name your channels versus masking tape.
Yeah, and I've been there so many times where the artist is in the booth and they're just like, oh, which one is the click again? Which one is my vocal?
Well, here's an even greater thing. So with the evolution of the Pro system came our next software, which is our ProConnect. So if you have the ability to get on the internet, doesn't matter if it's an Android, iOS system, you can go and download now our ProConnect, and once it's recognized with your system, it allows you to know you've got firmware updates. It automatically does it. If you want to go in and name your channel, run your system, your phone does it. The greatest part about, one of the reasons why we were able to overhaul Berkeley College of Music, the kids only had 3 hours in their student lab sessions. Well, you're spending an hour and a half to 2 hours setting up, and then that is going to have to be broken down. Well, now with the new Pro system, save your session file, 10 seconds to upload. Now you've got more time to really, really be hands-on in the studio and do your recordings. So this is like one of the reasons why everybody loves the Pro. It gives you the opportunity to also, if you, like some of our clients still use really, really big and old analog consoles. Well, you can use analog and a Dante or a MADI card. It just depends on what it is that you need. With the toggle of a switch between A and B on the front of the hub, you can cross between and use. But we didn't stop there.
You didn't stop there.
We wanted to do something even more amazing.
I like this.
And
I like this.
Voila. The Switchback Plus that is going to be coming in our early Q1, this is now an all-in-one system. So whereas the hub...
Seeing the word broadcast there, and I'm very curious. I'm very curious.
Okay, so now this is an all-in-one. It's an interface. It's also a controller, MIDI controller, and now it's still the greatest at audio monitoring and mixing. It's on the Dante. So if you are capable or know anything about Dante controller, it's all ran and done through now your Dante controlling. From naming of the channels, everything mirrors whatever goes on in Dante. You can do input, receiving, everything is now Dante based. All you need is this. It gives you 64 channels, but there's also 4 channels for inputs. That means it's a high-end, high-quality preamp. Now you can do vocals. You've got capability to do line input. So if you're a guitarist, bass, keyboard, as you see over here, we've got it set up. You can basically do everything that you would have done with having to have a controller, having to have an interface, and monitoring all in one. And we're trying to tackle a missed market for us. We want to help that producer, that studio musician that might not have the big bang in their bucks to afford our really expensive Pro system. But with this,
It's something
you're
that covers
saving
a
so
lot
much
of
money,
different
and we're
bases.
trying to keep it at a really, really great cost so that it is going to be user friendly.
So where do the audio feeds go? Like when you plug into the back of this, where does it appear in terms
So
of?
here's the thing. I just stole it, y'all. All right, so if you look, this is where the microphone is going. This is your stereo input and output, and these are your 2 line inputs for instrument cables.
Nice, cool.
Still the same Cat6 cabling. You still have your headphone inputs, but the thing about it is now, whereas you had to have this to control, you know, going through the network switch, it's all done with the PoE switch as well now.
Okay, nice.
Like this, if you were to toggle on your menu, now you see these are all your channels.
Yeah, and we've got the little screen up there.
This right here is now the panel that you're going to be seeing in your DAW. So you can control your
We've got
MIDI.
MIDI CC.
Yes.
I
So
right.
whatever you're doing from the DAW standpoint, now you can do it straight
Suddenly
from the
you've
mixer.
got a control surface. Like,
Yes.
Wow. All
So
right.
that's what makes this thing really, really cool.
So you could like assign like a record button, a play button, like a set of transport controls if you were like, you know, recording yourself in the booth.
And you do it all from this. Now you don't have to have the interface, the controller. You've got it all in one. Greatest thing I think about it is, for me, I'm a musician too, and I've always used hearback systems even before becoming a part of the team. I think the thing that's going to make me really, really most excited about this is because we're going into rough times in the economy, worldwide, globally. But you're going to be able to get something at the fraction of a cost. We're hoping to keep this under $1,200, even less than that, for our manufacturing MSRP. Anybody's out of Sweetwater or they want to finance or they want to do anything, now you can do it for a really, really inexpensive cost. But you're still getting the great name, you're still getting high-end quality product, and you're still getting just to be a part of a big family that the entire world of monitoring and mixing knows us for, but we're kind of branching off into other things.
It's a known name, you know. All of the big studios that I'm familiar with are very
And
much.
it's a standalone, so it's like if you're an on-the-go producer, get your computer, get your Switchback Plus, have a little controller, maybe a guitar, and go.
So we literally don't even need like a brain rack
No,
unit
this is
anymore.
all in
That's
one.
it. That's great. That's great.
All in one.
Fantastic.
Brett, how are you?
Good. You?
Good to see you.
You too.
Now, we've been long-time fans of Triad-Orbit. We have them all over the studio. We recommend them to everybody. And pretty much every other person I know uses them because they're ridiculous. I mean, the fact that you can... I've seen like drum kit things where you come up with one bass and then it's kind of like goes snare, tom, floor, overheads. You know, like it's...
You can get most drum kits done within, with 2 stands.
Yeah.
And these dual arm booms are legendary, especially with the amount of positioning you have, the capabilities of the ball joint swivels.
That's insane in a wonderful way. Yeah. So what do you have that's new? What do you want to show us?
The newest thing is the producer kit. This comes with a nice little carrying case. It's for all the people on the go trying to produce podcasts or just doing vlogs.
Yep.
Coffee shop, whatnot.
Oh, that's great.
We have our new iOrbit Pro. Comes with an IOC2 clamp.
Yeah.
Paired with a 9-dot solutions. You can clamp onto pretty much anything.
Excellent.
Position your device, whether it be a
Eric,
tablet.
you want one of those for the camera and stuff?
Yes.
Can it mount the camera? That would be insane.
Yeah, I mean you can. You can actually use any of our ball joint swivels.
Yeah.
To mount a camera. In fact, let me grab the camera real quick.
Oh.
That's part of the beauty of it.
Now we're talking.
You take whatever you need, you put it where you need it.
No, we okay, so just look the other way.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a lifesaver.
Yeah, and we also have the micro level as well, so you can make sure that you're level there.
Oh, that's so good.
So
what's this, a little tripod as well?
Yeah, so you have your desktop Triad desk stand, which is actually can be used in tandem, so those legs actually fold out and down. So
yeah, that's what I love about your stuff. You can sort of angle it so you can sort of have the camera like this or the microphone like that or like this or and it always stays up.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what you got there. Yeah, so the idea is total transport, ease of transportation.
Yep.
You have your camera, you have your mic on the top there on a ball joint swivel.
Yeah.
You have this as a monitoring device or as a streaming device.
Yeah.
You can clamp it right into the stem there. And with the amount of space you have on the stem itself,
Yeah.
you'll be able to add another clamp for whatever else you want.
It's incredible.
So you have any chance you want for any lights on the side being held up by any of these boom arms.
Yeah.
You have that opportunity.
And what's this? I/O desk.
That is the I/O desk, yeah.
I have not seen that either.
Yeah, that's a.
You guys have been branching out the last year or two since we saw you.
Yeah, we've been doing it's been a lot of work. Actually, we have one of those set up over here as well.
Okay, let's check it out.
So yeah, this is the I/O desk.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of these tie downs, so it's basically a cheese board. You can put whatever devices on there you want
Yeah.
to use for laptops, tablets. Yep, and you have the caster, that's the T1C. Has the casters on the stand. A lot of people use this for monitoring and stuff on stage.
So cool. So basically we could fly, we fly with like this and all the bits and pieces. I'm looking at Eric, not just staring at the camera. I'm literally, we're going to figure it out and then it'll make life so much easier.
And this cheese board, actually, we have these 3/8 inch adapters.
Yeah.
You can twist them in here, pretty much build whatever you want based off of our I/O connectors.
Right, so you could kind of put a stand and you could have a mic here.
Exactly, yeah. Plus the plate is it's thick enough to be able to have, multiple things on each side.
Yeah, I could probably sit on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, got a lot going on. I mean,
Excellent.
it's based on your imagination. Whatever you need done, you can likely do it with Triad-Orbit.
Excellent. So essentially that's bleed central. Everybody is just crammed together.
Yeah, I should point out that if any of you have seen Studio 3 at Western where this was recorded, it's a very small room. All those rooms, I mean, Western, the other studio that Brian loved dearly, Gold Star, it was all based around the leakage between the instruments. And something I learned, current recording for the last 100 years, you always start with the drums, no matter how you're recording, a tracking date. And in fact, in those days, the drums were the last thing you put in because you'd already got a certain amount of drums in all the other mics. So now you're going to fill that in with as much extra drumming as you need. And the other thing that's hard to fathom is that nobody's wearing headphones. Carl is playing the 12-string guitar direct into the board in the control room, so nobody in the band is hearing him. And of course, no headphones, they don't hear the reverb, they don't hear any of that. And it's just amazing how great the musicians were that they could do that and self-adjust. And I've heard amazing things. I think it's on Fun, Fun, Fun. Brian's playing piano, and they're getting ready they're working on the take. And hear Chuck Britz tell Brian to play it as hard and loud as he can. Not gonna, there isn't a mic on it, but we need to hear more piano, so play it louder. It's the total antithesis of how, all of us in modern recording have worked, since I came along. I started it with 16 track.
So how many track was that on? It was on 8. So that's 3 for the band.
Yeah, I mean, we could go back for a second. If you want to get a sense of what it actually sort of sounds like in the room, if I turn the horn track on, because they don't play for a while. That's Brian and Chuck Britz are doing submixing live on what was 12-channel board. Okay, well, we could hear the backgrounds. They've basically just done 2 group vocals.
All could be California. I wish they all could be California. I wish they all could be California girls.
I mean, the most recognizable harmonies, I think,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. And it's kind of the way, it's not that dissimilar to the way they always recorded. There are the recordings from 64, Don't Worry Baby and Fun, Fun, Fun. Early on, they would do it all, the lead and the backgrounds at the same time. But starting around 64, the tendency would be to cut the track in mono, so on a 3-track, and use the 2 other tracks and do the backgrounds, and then bounce that, combine the backgrounds, keep the track, and do a lead. And sometimes bounce again, but more often than not, just do this lead double while you're mixing it to mono. A-track comes along, and now we can do the leads, we can do backgrounds, we can do extra parts. I mean, there are extra parts.
Now you're saying this is a 12-channel console.
Yes.
How many mics on the drums, for instance, then?
Probably 2, at most 3. The pictures I've seen seem to be kick and 2 overheads.
Okay.
Although in those days, if you ran out of channels, because you're going to mix live, the better way to do it was to just Y 2 mics together. And so now you know, if you've got horns and you need two mics, they're still just going to be on one pot.
So when you were talking earlier about them not having headphones, I think actually in some ways hinders the way we looking at it from a modern perspective, but actually probably helps in this situation, because with less mics, you've got to literally sit in the room and go, okay, I need this to cut. You know, so Hal's having to go, okay, you know, I don't hear my snare, I've got to dig in, or I don't hear my toms, I've got to dig in, or they're too loud and I've got to pull back.
You know, there's so few of them left to ask, but how much they really did hear and how much they were playing because they knew how to play within the ensemble. I mean, it was such a small room that you certainly could have heard. Now, I worked on the movie Love and Mercy, and they hired musicians to play the musicians and play stuff from Pet Sounds. And while we didn't get to record them, it just wasn't feasible, I was able to stand in that room and hear essentially the right number of guys play some of this stuff. And just doing that, you really got a sense of why it worked, because they're playing, I mean, just acoustically, essentially, as an ensemble. But you can tell, you know, how it all fit together and worked for them. And then, of course, got all, you know, gussied up.
Were they able to hear playback, or were they completely...
They would have to go in this, you'll hear at the end of the Golly Notes session, that we'll get to in a minute, that Brian actually says, if you want to hear it, come on in. S3 probably did have playback speakers, but I don't think it's, I've never heard like, okay, let's stop and listen to it.
So he was essentially producing in probably the truest sense of the word. They were relying entirely on his feedback.
Yeah, well, and the other interesting thing I always found about Brian's productions is that with one, maybe 2 exceptions, when he got to the final take, in this case 44, that was it. He, you know, okay, we're done, we have it. I had the privilege of also listening to a huge number of Phil Spector sessions, you know, and Phil was Brian's idol, and he obviously learned a lot from Phil, although he really made almost no records that sound like the records Spector made. And one thing I discovered was that Spector routinely overcut to the extreme. I know, for example, that Be My Baby, the master take is like take 17, and there's probably another 10, 20 takes. What he would do would be get a 1/4 inch, take it home, and then pick the master. And Be My Baby has some real good mistakes in it. The best one is that Sonny Bono is playing the shaker, and at the last turnaround, after the last, he completely turns the beat around on the shaker and finally gets it back, and Spector remarks on this at the end of the take, but he still decided it was the best take to use. And that's something else that happened in those days, is that mistakes, you couldn't refix them, so you left them in.
You weighed up your options.
Yeah, well, I mean, it worked because it worked. I mean, there's a song on Pet Sounds called "You Still Believe in Me." It was originally going to be called "My Childhood," and that's why it has a little bicycle bell and a little kid's bicycle horn, and it was rewritten and became a love song, but the bicycle bell and the horn remain. Today, of course, they would have been, you would have had overdubbed them and just not used them.
This will be take one. Take one, God only knows. Starting to lose it, really. It really is. It's the dude. That whole thing didn't make it that time. It's got to be that happy shuffle thing, Okay, let's make one more, please, huh?
Brian?
Yeah.
What take was this?
Why don't we do it short like this?
This is.
What do you mean by that?
Well, instead of making it drag out like it had.
Well, try it.
Hold it down one time. Let's try when we get to that part. Instead of playing the quarter note full, make it like a staccato note. Bop, 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 bop.
Take it from that spot, please. Hey, wow, just that one spot, right, Dad? No, just the one spot. In that spot, just the pickup thing, right? That's cleaner and nicer. That's a groove too, no? Try Tom once. Let me hear it right now. I love this. Do snare one. That's it. Okay, let's go. Okay.
That's one of my favorite moments. He's asking Hal Blaine to try that stop on tom, and then he tries it on snare drum, and then he says, okay, that's it. It wasn't like, let's analyze this for 10 minutes. It's like, that's good, go on. We won't play it today, but on the Good Vibrations session, the very first one, where the verses come from, I forget who's playing the organ, but you hear him, playing dee, 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 and Brian goes, try another stop, please. And he changes the stop, and that's it. That's the organ sound on the record. I mean, the decision-making, to some extent because you had to, but to some extent just because you had to be that talented.